Welcome everybody to another MXA video. I'm Josh Mosiman, and today we have a unique one because Yamaha flew us all the way out to South Carolina to test the brand new 2024 Yamaha YZ450FX off-road model. And to do it, they brought us out to the factory Yamaha and Pro GNCC race shop. We're riding at Randy Hawkins' facility here in South Carolina and testing this all new bike. What can be better? So the Yamaha YZ450F was all new in 2023. Now the 2023 platform has transferred over into the FX cross-country off-road model. So this bike is all new for 2024. Of course, it has the same frame, same engine as the motocross model. ECU map settings have been tailored to this bike. Suspension settings have been made softer, and this bike has actually been lowered in the suspension platform by 10 mil just to make it a little more comfortable weaving through trees in the tight off-road sections. Also, of course, it comes with the 18-inch rear wheel, kickstand, skid plate. This is an awesome skid plate too, full coverage. Other key features for off-road riding, it has engine mounts that are specifically tailored for GNCC off-road racing. It's got a 5-speed wide ratio transmission, which is very nice for off-road riding as well. Also, there's a baffle in the muffler to make it a little bit quieter and kind of detune that initial hit that the YZ450F has. And the very best part about the FX model is the oversized fuel tank that doesn't feel like an oversized fuel tank on the track. It goes from a 1.6 gallon tank, which is stock, to a 2.1 gallon tank. And the best part about Yamaha is they can bring the weight down and keep it nice and centralized because of the backwards facing cylinder inside this engine. Other brands you see, they have to make the shrouds wider and they have to lift the fuel tank up. Not good for handling and not good for just being comfortable on the track. So that's the best part about the Yamaha YZ450FX. I'm excited to ride it on the track and in the trails. Let's hit them now.
So the big question is who is this bike made for? The Yamaha YZ450FX is an awesome cross-country machine. We are racing the GNCC race this weekend here in South Carolina, and I'm doing it on this bone stock YZ450FX. There are two reasons why I love this YZ450FX after spending 2 days on it here at Randy Hawkins' place in South Carolina. The first reason, the big fuel tank. Now, anybody who's ridden off-road for a long time, who's done long endurance races, especially 2-hour motos where you're filling up the gas in between first half and the second half of the moto, you pull in for that pit stop with an empty tank, and then you fill the tank all the way up. As soon as you jump back on the track, you feel that extra weight on the front end. With the backwards engine concept, the frame has room for the fuel tank to go down and back. That's keeping the center of gravity nice and low, and you don't even notice when you fill up the tank. My second favorite thing about this YZ450FX is the range of adjustability it has. So the electronics are actually unique on this bike. It does have the GYTR Power Tuner app that the standard motocross model has, but this map switch is a tiny bit different in the internals. What's different about it? Map 1 is standard, no light when you buy the bike, and then once you click the light on, map 2, that's a mellow map. It's different from stock because when you buy a standard motocross bike, they keep the same map 1 and 2 same until you buy the bike, until you connect your phone via Wi-Fi, and then you can add in maps and adjust them, map 1 and map 2. This bike comes with 2 maps from the dealership. You don't even have to use the Power Tuner app. Then when you come up on a technical section, you can click it into map 2 light on. So that map, you can adjust it as much as you want with the Yamaha Power Tuner app. What we did today is we turned it all the way down, throttle response all the way down, traction control all the way up. So that detunes this bike as much as possible. Feeling the difference between all the way power and all the way down power was crazy today. I was really impressed with Yamaha and thankful for 2 reasons. They have 2 maps. As soon as you buy the bike, before you even connect your phone, you have 2 map options. I'm also glad just about the range of adjustment that you have from all the way aggressive to all the way mellow. It's a much easier bike to ride, especially on these tight technical trails here in South Carolina. The next big topic about this bike, transmission. Wide ratio, 5-speed transmission. It has 1 tooth extra on the rear. Stock on the motocross model is a 49 tooth on the rear. This is a 50 tooth on the rear. The wide ratio transmission is crazy on this thing. First gear is like a ultra pit gear. I mean it's almost too low to even ride around on the fire roads and in the pits. First gear is crazy, crazy low. Then from there, the space between first and second is massive. Second was nice for the tight technical trails today. Third is almost close to stock. And fourth and fifth. Fifth gear is basically like a transfer gear, completely different than the motocross bike. So it's pretty cool to see the range that it has. It's also really nice to hit first gear when we're doing tight hill climbs. Trevor and I had a lot of fun on this bike and the technical stuff. This YZ450F engine is a beast. We always talk about our motocross model, how snappy it is off the crack of the throttle and how hard it is to keep the front end down on the straightaways. Thankfully, the ECU map settings are more mellow on this bike, so that helps you access the power and it helps you keep the front end down coming out of corners. So even when you turn up the ECU all the way aggressive, it's still not as aggressive as the motocross model, so that is a nice thing. This is a more friendly YZ450F thanks to the tuning inside the electronics. Also back home, we do a lot of different things to make our YZ450F more rideable. We do turn it down in the Power Tuner app. I also add a hydraulic clutch. GYTR catalog, Yamaha, they offer a Brembo hydraulic clutch. It mounts onto the YZ450F with a couple bolt-on parts. They made the bike to mount the hydraulic clutch on there. It was Eli Tomac who really put his foot down and said, hey, I do not want to run a hydraulic clutch. I hated it on the Kawasaki. I don't want it on my new Yamaha. So Yamaha made it to where it comes stock with the cable clutch, so Tomac can still ride with cable. But if you want to pay the extra $300, you can get that Brembo system and bolt it right onto your YZ450F. Also, we like to throw exhaust systems on our YZ450F at home. This one has an extra baffle in the muffler to quiet down the power and also quiet down just the noise coming out of the YZ450FX. We like to put the Yoshimura exhaust. We've tested all of them, Pro Circuit and Yoshimura really detune the power. Also DRD helps detune the power as well, make it more of a smooth and linear power rather than such a hard, snappy hit that will jerk the bike out of your hands. So FMF also does a good job of kind of smoothing out that power. So also grip tape is very, very important to hold you onto this bike. I have a Guts wing seat for my YZ450F, and I'm actually gonna put it on this bike this weekend here at the race in South Carolina, and it has ribs on it, and it also has a bump on it. Very important for keeping me up and saving my arms in the race. Another cool little part that GYTR catalog offers is a radiator fan, and they make it on this YZ450FX. Cross-country model comes with this little tab right here on the radiator, so it's easy to mount up, also easy to plug in right here so that you can have a radiator fan on your bike, making sure you never overheat on the track. Next, let's talk about the handling. Ultra balanced on these tight technical trails. Suspension settings are quite a bit softer than the motocross model, but I was very thankful for that going through the trees here in South Carolina. The KYB SSS forks, spring sensitive, speed sensitive dampening forks are ultra soft and ultra plush at the top end of the stroke. And they also have a great top out feel. Other brands like Honda, we've been testing their RX model, harsh top out feel when you're wheeling through the bumps. You can feel the forks top out and kind of rattles you right in your hands. The KYB SSS forks are second to none. We love these forks, and I loved how balanced this bike was on the tight technical stuff, going down steep trails, but also even on the motocross portion of the track. It was a little soft, but that's to be expected. It's an off-road bike. Very, very flat across the board. Thankful for the new seat. A little bit taller. The cockpit's a little more opened up compared to the 22 and prior models. Overall, ton of fun riding this YZ450FX. the big question is, who is the YZ450FX made for? I tell you guys what, this is the perfect bike for someone who likes to do off-road and motocross. The best bike for motocross because it's not a compromise compared to the other off-road models that other manufacturers offer. You don't have that weight disadvantage up here on the front end. I really appreciate that about this bike. Of course, you got a lot of off-road features like the kickstand, 18-inch rear wheel, the wide ratio transmission, oversized fuel tank, softer suspension settings, and softer ECU settings, making the power a little more mellow. And honestly, I think this power would be even better on the motocross track back home at Glen Helen. These handguards, they do not come stock. These are Yamaha accessories. They're Cycra handguards that worked out nicely, saving my hands today, but do not come stock on the bike. Overall, this thing retails for $10,199. I think it's worth it. It's only $200 more than the regular YZ450F. If you like some off-road, the YZ450FX will make a great bike for you. Also, cable clutch might be a good thing because I'm going to be clutching it a ton this weekend and I'll be able to adjust it myself racing the GNCC race. So stay tuned for that video. We're going to be racing it. I'm going to race in the Sportsman A class, so looking forward to that. Also, we tested the new YZ125X and YZ250X. Stay tuned for those videos. Should be released shortly after this one. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.